Kawhi Leonard, all right, I said it earlier, I'll say it again. The average time out with a torn ACL, Rob, is between 8 and 12 months. Kawhi Leonard is now 15 months removed from his ACL surgery, and they're playing their 5th game right now. Kawhi's played 2. And Rob, he didn't play the last game, wasn't a back-to-back. He's not playing this game, was not a back-to-back. So, and even when he's played, Rob, I mean, Kawhi's only played 42 minutes all year. So what do you make of this? I mean, it's kind of baffling, to be honest.
I think Kawhi, Chris, has turned into a non-factor, something you can't count on. When he came to Los Angeles, Chris, people were talking about him as the best player in the league.
Absolutely.
He was on that level. Yep. He was, if they would have won that bubble championship that the Lakers won, and they had the better team. Everybody and their uncle picked the Clippers that year, Chris. You remember?
Right.
Because then that would have been Kawhi with 3 championships and winning back-to-back on franchises that had never won anything.
Our buddy Colin Cowherd, Rob, which I thought was crazy, as much as I liked Kawhi, was saying he could be a top 5 player ever. If they had won that championship.
But that's where he was, Chris.
But
people
that was ridiculous.
No,
that
I know.
I'm
just saying.
But
where he was as far as the level
his stature, right?
and stature in the league, people are like, Kawhi is the dude. Are you kidding? What can he do? He performs in crunch time. What? And now we don't know when he's playing. It's always, oh, no. Oh, Kawhi. Well, everything, when you mention Kawhi now, Chris, is if he stays healthy. That's his first name now. If he stays healthy is his first name. Kawhi is his middle name, and Leonard is his last name. If he stays healthy, Kawhi Leonard, that's where we are. It is amazing to me how someone has fallen off. And I'm not blaming him, Chris. If you get injured, you're injured, right? We're not blaming people for getting injured.
Right.
But, man, this has derailed his career. This has downgraded where we thought of him. It will be hard to think of him at that level again because he's a part-time, maybe woulda, coulda, shoulda kind of player now.
No, he is. And now look, he officially made the top 75 team, which I think was legit. He should have. And he'll be a Hall of Famer. But I think you're saying going forward, at least at this point. Now, he could, we'll see if he starts playing regularly. But will he ever, Rick Bucher brought this up last hour, Rob. Will he? It's possible. It's on the table that Kawhi Leonard is never back to what he used to be. That is very much on the table. And Rob, listen to this. In Toronto, this is since he left San Antonio. Now, I remember in San Antonio, he only played 9 games his last year. In Toronto, Rob, he only played 60 that year. Remember that?
Yeah.
He low managed all season and then led them to the championship. And then he goes to the Clippers, Rob, plays 57 games. And was that was the lockout year? Was that his first year there? He played 57 games I don't know how many exactly the Clippers played. But that was the year they played 72 and he played 57. So that's not terrible. But then the next year, Robbie played 52 of 82, then missed the entire season last year. And now he's played 2 of 5. Here's what I'm going to say. And this is what I want your opinion on, Rob. Now, Ty Lue, I don't know if he's protecting Kawhi or if this is the truth. But he said Kawhi wants to play. He even went as far as to say, look, he can be mad at us all he wants, but we're doing what's best for him and the team. So that's what Ty Lue is saying. But I really believe, Rob, that the Clippers and Kawhi have this, just like he did in game 1 against the Lakers, right? He sits out the first quarter and a half and then is able to play pretty much full time from that point on. I think on a macro level, that's how they're looking at this season. I think they're like, look, let's just make sure Kawhi is in a rhythm, play him enough to get acclimated to his teammates. You know, they know how to play with him. We obviously secure a playoff berth. And I think late in the season, they want to ramp him up his minutes, get him in that 35-minute range for the playoffs. And I think they're looking at it like, if we can have him healthy for the playoffs, then we're good. Which to me is after 15 months after an ACL, I just hate to see that. And here's what I'm going to say to you, Rob, and it's just where I want your opinion. If, like, that's the plan, and I get that being a plan in some respects, but if that's the plan and it leads to Kawhi Leonard playing maybe 37 games or whatever, and then he comes and plays full-time in the playoffs and leads them to a championship, which I don't think would happen, but let's say it did. I look, he gets credit. He won a ring if he won a ring. But, Rob, I don't like that, and I don't like the precedent it could be setting.
I'm going to say this, and I'm going to defend the Clippers from one standpoint, Chris. They must feel like they don't want this window with Kawhi to disappear and get nothing. And they feel like they got John Wall, they got this team together, their roster. I like their roster. They got a good coach. And I think they're like, we want to give this one shot. And we need this guy to be healthy to give us that shot. And I think that's why they're willing to do this, Chris, because what year is this for Kawhi? Is this 3 or 4? I think
this is 4th with them, but he's got next season at $45.6 million. And then the next season, I think, is a player it's a player option. So he's got 2 more years.
But he's getting older
after this one.
You know, I'm just saying they're trying to say we want to try to win one. And maybe that's why they're willing to do that.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that strategy. What I'm saying, Rob, is I do not, because we already see in several of the sports that teams are only, and maybe you see it more so in basketball than anything, Rob, but teams are only kind of like, it's all about the playoffs, right? It doesn't matter what happens in the regular season. It's all about the playoffs. And I would hate to see that precedent set where a guy just kind of hardly plays in the regular season and then he's in the playoffs and is going full bore. Like, I think part of it, Rob, is part of the struggle, part of the battle to win a championship is overcoming the attrition. Is the marathon not a sprint? You know what I mean? Is staying healthy. And I just would hate to see it. I remember years ago, I feel like there was some talk about, I think maybe a few people threw it out jokingly. Like, if you could get Michael Jordan to just play 50 games and then have him for the playoffs, you know, because as you get older, as you know, your body just can't take that type of
You
work.
remember when Michael came back at the end that he didn't play most of the year? Chris came back for the playoffs. Was it against Orlando?
That was when he came back for baseball.
Right, but I'm just saying, people thought,
only sat out,
but people thought, he come back and he's going to be good to go. He wasn't himself.
Well, that's why I think if this, look, if you do this because you have to, then it is what it is, right? But if you do it because you're out of precaution, like if the guy can play, but you just gonna sit him out until the playoffs, I don't like that.
Well,
because it's just, you always talk about the fans, I don't know, it cheapens the whole thing, you know?
I get it. It was like what I said about Zion. You remember that when nobody wanted him to play in college? Remember I said if he's healthy, he should play.
Right.
Remember that? Oh, that's it. He should never play another game. Go to the NBA. The kid is like 20 years old. You don't want to play?
Right.
Come on.
Right.
I wasn't with that.
Yeah, this is a somewhat of an advanced version of that. You know, just have a guy healthy for the playoffs. I just don't like that. It's not, look, it's a business too. You owe the fans to put the best product out there. You're not lowering their prices.
Nah, they'll never do that. Saying? No.
So if the dude is healthy enough to play, then play him. If he's not, I'm fine with it.
Right. Nobody's telling you to force somebody out there.
Right.
Like I remember we were anti when Anthony Davis went out there, Chris, because Charles Barkley called him street clothes.
Right.
And all that. We knew he was hurt. You remember? And he felt pressure to suit up that night. You remember? And he could barely get out to warm up, let alone play.
No, you're right.